Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. In a world of capes and lunatics, of gods and monsters, there are threats that arise that are too dangerous for one hero to face alone. In those times shall rise the Avengers! And this is Avengers Declassified. Good morning, I am your host, Charlie the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burg of Pants.
Good afternoon, it's Phil Podcast Perich.
Hey, Phil Podcast, glad to have you back. Tonight we're talking Captain America, the first Avenger, they say. Oh, my goodness, these are some good... we start with... episode 340 or issue 347, correct?
247.
247. I always get I don't count the first numbers, Phil. You know that.
I know.
Do you want to read a synopsis, or you just want to jump into the issue? Because
I could do a synopsis, but yeah. So
prepare yourself. Read us a quick synopsis.
All right, Captain America.
Unless it's very long.
All right, let's see. Captain America 247, July 1980. Or these are from by the dawn's early light. Writers Roger Stern and John Byrne. Penciler John Byrne.
John Byrne, is he just drawing this?
No, it said him and Roger Stern as writers, so they must have co-wrote this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, John Byrne's a talent.
Yep. Inker Joseph Rubinstein, colors George Rosas, letter Jim Novak, and editor Jim Salicrup. Wow, a lot of notes here. As Captain America is on his way to meet up with Nick Fury, his alter ego's neighbor, Joshua Cooper, is trying to give him a letter, but there's no answer, and instead he goes off to meet someone. Meanwhile, Cap meets up with Dum Dum Dugan, who wants to show him something in order to help him get some answers about his past. At the same time, Nick Fury commences a questioning with Baron Strucker in a maximum security prison, but just after Dugan contacts Fury, Strucker manages to escape.
Not that maximum security.
I don't know. Supposedly it was, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it. But yeah, Strucker manages to escape with an unconscious Fury. Later, Cap and Dugan are at an abandoned storage facility where Dugan presents Cap with a container containing Cap's possessions from the war, including his old journal and his first shield. The journal reveals that his memories about his past life before the army were actually false, implanted by the army so that Cap wouldn't reveal anything relevant to the Nazis if he were captured. Cap's real memories start to come back, but Strucker crashes into the storage facility, driving Fury's flying car. After a battle with Dugan and Cap against Strucker, with Cap using his original shield and Dugan getting shot in the shoulder, Fury rolls out of the car, which has crashed. Fury throws Cap's current shield to him, which Cap uses to defeat Strucker. However, Strucker explodes, and it is revealed that he is in fact an android duplicate. Unknown to those present at the explosion, the Machinesmith has made the Strucker android, and he is watching the group.
So, a couple things I love about this issue. First off, we get Cap's footlocker, which will come again when that privileged hack Zemo tries to take over Avengers Mansion and tries to break Captain America. So I love when things like that come back. So that's delightful.
Because I think Roger Stern wrote that. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it was, when they'd have Mr. Hyde crush the shield and tear up the picture of Bucky.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's honestly just, I don't know why they really felt that would break Captain America. It's like, I'm breaking all your mementos. It's like, yeah, I understand what you're doing. You're you're still a guy with a mask glued to your face, dude.
Yeah.
So
I mean, not Zemo. Hyde still beat Jarvis in front of him too. So, I mean, that was
yeah, well, that I think was actually the worst. But even then, it's like he didn't kill Jarvis. Jarvis is still freaking alive.
no, but yeah, I mean,
104, but he's
was-
still kicking.
he was injured for a while. He had that eye patch for a while.
I know. And then he, saw Roger Rabbit, and that told him how to navigate the Inferno crossovers, because he's like, oh, so all machines have become sentient. Fine. I understand this premise. I just saw Roger Rabbit. So,
but yeah, the whole thing with the memories is just a past writer tried to throw in a bunch of different, tried to all change Cap's past, where he was like the son of a diplomat or something, and had a brother who died.
Yeah, that was a
Pearl
weird.
Harbor.
I don't know why they did that.
Again, it was just a past writer, and I guess they just wanted to go back to the old origin of just him being a kid from Brooklyn.
From Brooklyn. Thank you. That's where he's from. He's not from Maryland.
Yeah,
he's not your Southern white boy pride. It's
he's
like
not, he's not the son of a diplomat. No, yeah,
no. It's like no. He's a kid from Brooklyn. Do not. Why'd they let it write?
Well, that's why they wrote this. They're like, no, we're going back.
No. I don't know who approved that, but that was a bad approval. Don't mess with the IP. Thank you. Yeah, so he gets his reality back, and it's like, no, this was a false memory implant, which is like, gee, I guess, remembering my false memories would have been helpful to know if I remembered that they were false memories. But that defeats the purpose of the false memory for,
But
we want to give you a false backstory.
I mean, I guess they were trying to protect him, but it's like it almost seemed like, the government's like, we're going to give you false memories to cover stuff up. But all they did was cover up his past. I mean, all it was personal details. It wasn't like,
Well, I think what it was meant to, and what it really was meant to do was to throw people off of his origins. And the idea that he was a kid from Brooklyn. So in understanding that he was a kid from Brooklyn, you might take a different tack with him than thinking he was, Southern aristocracy. Which, fun fact, Peggy Carter used to be before they made her British.
Oh yeah, weren't the Carters
Peggy
from
Carter's
Virginia
history
or
is so
something?
crazy.
Oh yeah, please. I mean, Peggy and Sharon used to be sisters.
Oh, I know that, but more than that, they were Virginians until recently. No, they're British. Hello, better tea, governor. It's
that's like during summer of '69. They had a story in Daredevil where Karen Page's family was like, I think from Virginia too, and I'm like, what was up with Stan Lee making all like the female love interest from Virginia? I'm like, is there something personal there? Or, I don't know.
Southern Bells. That's all I can say, man. It's Lee was always a very cinematic guy, and that Gone with the Wind was a very cinematic film. So it's like, yeah, I can totally see that being the Uber Frau, if you will. And so yeah, it's like, yeah, you want that Southern Belle from a fine family that you can bring back to Brooklyn and give a Gray's Papaya hot dog. Not as a sexual reference. Thank you. But yeah, of course, at the end of it, and again, speaking of maximum security, we have that Strucker has a gas bomb concealed upon his person. Now, that makes sense when you realize that
he's a robot.
The Strucker they captured isn't the Strucker they thought they captured. Which almost makes it funny. Like, if they had sent this guy to Israel for trial, like, what would have happened? They would have found Strucker as a robot, and it was like, Craziness, wackiness would have ensued, my friend.
Well, they
Wackiness
said
would have ensued.
it was a pretty in the next issue. I think they say it's like, yeah, it's a pretty elaborate robot, because I think they're like Fury said, oh yeah, it like it fooled like X-ray machines and all kinds of stuff.
I mean, for real, not for nothing. This is literally why we have a scene in Loki where they say, "To the best of your knowledge, are you now, or have you ever been a robot?" It's like, do most people not know they're robots? It's like, dude, I'm asking you the question: are you a robot? If you walk through this and you're a robot, it's gonna melt you. And and for real, and for what it's worth, not for nothing. That was when Eternals ran afoul of the uh, department. So it's like, yeah, you may not know you're a robot, but we're gonna know you're a robot as soon as you walk through, and we are going to melt you. So, but yeah, and I love. So, if you want to move on to the next issue,
Sure.
we've defeated the Struckerbot. And good thing for Machinesmith, it still has a live feed,
Yeah, I know.
which is it's one of these moments where you're like, wow, they didn't even put a Faraday cage around that.
Again, it was 1980. It was 1980.
They had Faraday cages in the. It's named after Faraday, who lived in the 1900s.
But I'm just saying, I don't know about Nick Fury and them, but Steve Rogers isn't thinking of that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a scientist there, Phil. There's a scientist. Gee, do you think we should maybe make this more secure? It's Although then again, you have your quantum superpositioning communications relays. It's always a weird thing when you watch when you read it, like as you read it as a kid, it didn't register with you, but as an adult, you're saying, how are they able to just look into the villain's lair, and the villain is able to just look into the hero's lair? It's like, why is this on the big view screen? Yeah, this is interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
Of course, eventually the once Machinesmith, and this is our big reveal of Machinesmith, I believe.
Oh, not till the third one, but no, this one, the Captain America 248 from August 1980. The title says it all. Dragon Man.
No, we get Machinesmith in this issue.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant his origin. Him going off about his origin.
No. The whole story. But we know that it's Machinesmith.
Yeah.
That's my. I love Machinesmith, especially because again, he's one of these characters who comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, what was attempted did not work.
Oh. All right. Shield scientist Gaffer studies the Strucker robot until Machinesmith remotely activates its self-destruct. Data module flies away from the wreckage too swiftly to be stopped or pursued and returns to Machinesmith just as his robot minions deliver the inert Dragon Man.
Good old Dragon Man.
After a few hours' work, Machinesmith reactivates him and controlling him via a flying drone primed with tracking information from the data module, sends him after Captain America. Steve Rogers, meanwhile, returns home after an unsuccessful day trying to land an art assignment, where his neighbors Josh and Mike introduce him to the building's newest resident, Bernie Rosenthal.
Yay, Bernie!
Hearing radio reports of strange sightings at the buildings he visited, Steve realizes he is being followed. Glancing out a window, he spots Dragon Man flying nearby and abruptly excuses himself. Bernie feels insulted, but Josh smooths things over. When Cap confronts Dragon Man, the drone drives Dragon Man into a frenzy, triggering a running battle that ends with Dragon Man grabbing a momentarily distracted Cap and begins to squeeze the life out of him. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good issue, to say the least. It's it's action packed, to say the least. I'm annoyed they don't really address the letter. I really am. Because we saw we got a registered letter for Cap last issue. It's nice to meet Bernie. So this is, and this is, has he met Bernie already, or
No,
is
I think this is her first
this is
appearance
Bernie's first appearance? Yeah.
because they were playing with that because who is it? Is it Josh or is it Mike? So one of their old college roommates, and the whole running gags. Oh, wait till you meet my old college roommate Bernie.
Ah, yes. And hey, redheads. I mean, technically, she is more auburn than red. One can say that, but still, if you don't cast a redhead for Bernie, it's not the same. I mean, that's the thing. It's just that we not get MCU Bernie Rosenthal is honestly one of my many, or at least yet, because she may show up on She-Hulk. We don't know yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. She'd be a lawyer. Yeah.
She is a lawyer now, and she could say, "Oh, yeah, I dated Steve briefly." It's like, yeah, when he first got unthawed, it's like, what, you think that guy fought like Ultrons every day? No, most of his day was actually pretty chill, believe it or not. It's like he ran a lot, he trained a lot, not arguing that, but yeah.
Mhm.
He's not doing everything every day. And yeah, he had a life and he had an apartment in Brooklyn and I was his next door neighbor and things happened. And honestly, you could introduce Connie Ferrari as well. Honestly, the idea that just like every woman that Cap has been with since he got unthawed would be an interesting item for She-Hulk. Anyway, next issue is the big origin of, or not origin, sort of retrogen of what's going on with our good friend Machinesmith, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Oh yeah. All right. So yes, Captain America 249. Death, where's thy sting? Captain America frees himself from Dragon Man's grip by throwing his glove in the Dragon Man's eye. Retrieving his shield, Cap smashes the drone buzzing around, freeing Dragon Man from its influence. Then follows as Dragon Man heads off to confront Machinesmith. Meanwhile, as Josh and Bernie watch Mike's fireman unit put out a fire Dragon Man started, Bernie realizes she is concerned for the absent Steve and wonders how deep her feelings run for a man she has only just met.
It's love at first sight, my friend. Love at first sight.
Meanwhile, Dragon Man destroys a barn to reveal a hidden entrance, and Cap follows Dragon Man inside. Machinesmith attacks and incapacitates Dragon Man. When Cap confronts Machinesmith, his head falls off, revealing him to be a robot. And another, Machinesmith taunts Cap as several robots attack simultaneously. Cap fights his way through the onslaught, pursuing Machinesmith, who continues to jump between robot bodies. After explaining how his mind came to reside within a machine, which they don't even go into here, but yes, it was a 1969 issue of Daredevil. I wonder how I know that. Yes, kids, the Daredevil podcast, episode 41. Lilith and I did cover that issue. Yeah. Again, you know what? It was cleaning up some continuity also there too, because Star Saxon, who Machinesmith was when he was human, had found out Matt was Daredevil. So when they're fighting on that thing and he goes over the edge, you think Matt's too heartbroken when he falls off that flying platform? No. Matt Murdock had faked his death.
Yeah, well, she did.
So yeah, after he explains that, he attacks Cap with a Machinesmith army, noticing they're guarding a computer bank. Cap attacks it, deactivating the robots. As the damaged computer deactivates, Machinesmith reveals it houses his consciousness and thanks Cap for helping him end a life no longer worth living. Yeah, right.
Well, that was the hope.
Yes.
But all the dang backups,
Yeah. So what did you think about the little? What do you think about the little Easter eggs like Ben Grimm robot?
Oh well, those are always fun.
Yeah.
Obviously the man likes his robots.
And Magneto robot.
I don't even know how that works. I don't want to know. So, not for nothing, the army of noted superheroic robots. I mean, several people have had those. I don't think that's unique to him. This might be the first time it's done. but everybody does it. And it's cute. I like the fact that this is this weird idea of this supervillain realizing that his Phoenix Protocol isn't what he wanted it to be.
Oh yeah, because his robots they were programmed to preserve his life at all costs. So after he falls off that flying platform battling Daredevil, he hits the ground and his body's he's moments from death. So they take his body and they digitize his consciousness, and throw it in a robot body,
which is not as cool as it sounds, apparently.
Well,
although,
again,
honestly, it doesn't sound that awful. I don't know. It's like
I mean, just the way it sounded. I mean, it looked from the flashback. It almost looked like they put him in like a crude robot body. So maybe it's like I can't feel anything. There's no
I know. We all saw that episode of Superman, the animated series, Phil.
Yeah. I'm just saying, and
the adjustments are what you need to make, not what we need to make. But at the same time, it's like, oh, okay. Well, and first off, the first thing you might think to do is maybe I should figure out how to adjust to this. And maybe, it's like, because not for nothing, I am aware, I'm alive, I've got a physical body. Maybe I can figure out. And as it turns out, I happen to be a robot. I'm a bit of a scientist myself. Maybe I can figure out what to do next.
Or not to go all Charlie Esser on you, but is that the original Star Saxon, or is that just a copy of his mind that the robots preserve?
Well, it clearly is a copy, and that's the thing. It's like it's, and I guess later they just like deleted that part that made it like self-destructive. Like every time we reboot this jerk, he tries to kill himself. Let's just take the code. We're just gonna remove that. We're gonna just say, you know what? You're cool with being a robot now, okay? So I'm
trying to remember
which going to update your programming.
I'm trying to remember which issue, but I swear there's an issue where he was just like, "Oh yeah, I just said that to Captain America, get him to leave."
I'm sure that's what the robots told him. I actually think the AI is like now in charge. And it's like, no, that's like the thing with AI. It's like, dude, my programming says I protect this jerk, and protecting this jerk sometimes and honestly, it could give him like a heroic redemption arc eventually, because eventually the AI is just gonna say, it'd be so much easier if we just made this guy like not a jerk all the time. So let's just make him like nice, and then
Machinesmith was giving Cap the old high tech version. Oh, you got me! I'm dying. I'm still dying.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm almost said. Oh, that's what.
Hey,
Paul Rubens did in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like
he did
it's a whole extended after credit scene.
He didn't find his true calling until the Red Skull hired.
Well, Red Skull. No, he found his true calling when he got into that whole thing with recreating the super soldier serum. And, Erskine's like 117 kids, so not the only one, Vaught. Because you think about it, it's like MVP is a descendant of Erskine. The guy in that is a descendant of Erskine. There's just a lot of Erskine DNA flowing out there, so it's a good thing. Not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, all the notes and all the ideas that Erskine kind of created, it's like Horton, it's like these people that really revolutionized science that people just ignored for 30 years. And someone says, oh, wait, this guy was a super genius. And it's like if Tesla actually ever created anything that worked. He created lots of things that worked, like in normal space, but like all of his death rays and such, that's all made up. That's all that's all Pulp Fiction, kids. That's how you know if you read Department of Truth. Anyway, moving right along. Let's talk about Cap running for president, Phil.
Issue 250. They did 4 writers for this issue with Charlie Esser. Roger
Took 4, huh?
Roger Stern, Don Perlin, Roger McKenzie, and a man you may be familiar with, Jim Shooter.
The best of them all. What I will say about it is, so this is an interesting issue because it honestly, it's weird, but if you think about it in context with the idea, so to give you backstory, Ronald Reagan used to be an actor. And the idea of voting for Ronald Reagan for president was a ridiculous idea. Almost as if you'd say, what if Donald Trump were president? It was ridiculous to people in the past. But prior to this, there was a senator who was likewise an actor and likewise a horrible human being. Tom Lehrer wrote a song about him. I'm blanking on his name now, and that's good because his name should be expunged like Haman's. But yeah, the idea of like, hey, y'all are America, and we're gonna call you president for our party, the People's Party, the party that we have no platform we're gonna tell you about. Let's hope we're not Nazis. Because not for nothing. No one likes a Nazi, Tristan. But not for nothing. You should always blame a Nazi because who's going to defend a Nazi? But in the moment, it's like, okay, don't be sad. I'm trying to do a podcast, child. Anyway, but in the moment, it's this weird thing about someone asking Cap to run for president as based solely on the fact that he is Captain America. Who's gonna argue with Captain America? As if he were not a human being.
Yeah, but I think even then people are like, who can trust politicians? But it's like, oh, hey, every American trusts Captain. Most trust Captain America.
I don't trust Captain America. Not for nothing. I read Secret Empire, so no, and that's an interesting point of order. Because if you read the original 80s, what if Captain America were revived today? And you get William Burnside as the Captain America, and then he is approached to be president. He's like, dang Skippy, I'll be president. And he becomes effectively manipulated by the Secret Empire. Yada, 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 yada. And really, not for nothing, the prequels kind of stole that story where I am the Senate. I am now the Emperor of America. And that's the whole thing. And honestly, Marvel did it twice before Lucas did it once. So, for reals, let's call it a shelter after an entrenching tool. It's a nice story, and I remember this story because actually I first read this story as a free comic with something I purchased, and Cat for President, and I always loved this story. This is really one of my favorite stories because it is just a talky story. It is the story of Cap trying to deal with this idea that someone wants to let him be, someone wants to, and not for nothing. Let's be clear here. Who these people are, I don't know who they are.
It's some third party. So that's the thing. It's not even the Republicans or the Democrats. It's like Captain America, I'm sure, is the best possible candidate this third party's ever had.
Well, if they even existed before this.
Well,
so
yeah.
This could be a purely Roxxon manufactured, and this is my thing. It could be a purely Roxxon manufactured political party. Much like what's his name? Ross Perot, It's amazing how prescient Marvel Comics could get sometimes. And it's like, yeah, Ross Perot was a billionaire. He put his money in there. He just made himself president rather than being smart and saying, well, who would be a good president? Who is a person that people would respond to?
Mhm.
But the problem is that most billionaires don't do that because they're control freaks and they need to be the ones in charge themselves. So they're not going to put a Captain America in charge, because if you also read the what if Captain America was elected president, he's actually a pretty decent president, if I recall correctly. Although parts of me think that sometimes it ends poorly and sometimes I think it ends well. But that's also possibly two different. That's possibly two different what ifs I'm remembering at the same time. One in which Bucky lived, and then Steve did run for president after retiring, and Bucky was Captain America for a while. But anyway, long story short, it's this is a pivotal moment in Cap's life. He makes a choice. He chooses not to run at the whatever convention they're having in Brooklyn at the time, which again is one of these weird things where it's like they were like that into this. It's like, they get him in just to say he's not going to do it. It's like, and I think he even makes a point of this about like, no, that was an old script of the Spider-Man strip. But just what do these people even stand for? What is their actual platform? I don't know if they actually ever state it, and that's half the problem. And I'm really glad that Cap chose not to be a part of it.
But I love the scene with Jameson and Joe Robertson. When Jonah's like, "What's next? Iron Man for Congress, or Reed Richards as a senator?" And Robbie has to throw in, or Spider-Man for mayor.
And what's funny is that that's not that weird of an idea in our modern age.
Oh yeah, no. That's why Jameson ran for mayor. He wanted to beat Spider-Man to the punch.
Well, for real. And honestly, Peter Parker running for mayor. I would love for Peter Parker to re-reveal his identity and say, you know what, F Mephisto, I'm just going to tell everyone, I'm Peter Parker. I've been Spider-Man for years. I'm running for mayor. We've had a Daredevil, we've had a Kingpin. Now it's time for a Spider-Man mayor. And people might say, you know what? Spider-Man actually does good work.
You know what they need
I
to
know Jameson doesn't like him, but you know what? I don't like Jameson, so.
Oh my God, you know what they need to do? Have former district attorney Foggy Nelson run for mayor. He wins, then you just get storylines of Daredevil having to protect Foggy from getting assassinated every 2 seconds.
No, I want Mayor Cage, honestly.
Oh, we kind of have, but they haven't really done much with him yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mayor Cage is in there, and that's like my dream for the MCU. Is that because I know that he has another gig, and it's like we can only get him when we can get him. But I would love for Mayor Cage to be an ongoing thing.
I mean, whenever
the MCU.
Whenever that new Thunderbolts book come out, we might see him, because I think he's the one who's putting together that telling Hawkeye to put together that new Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I mean, I want more Mayor Cage. But to me, the idea of Mayor Cage in the MCU is a great idea. It's a great way to reincorporate that character as the mayor of New York. As the superhuman mayor. And if nothing else, it feeds into the ideas that have been established in the Feige universe of these superheroes who become influencers and characters and people of importance. So, do you think Cap should have ran, Phil?
I don't know. He was like, I'd have to give up my whole mission and stuff. He got a secret identity at this point. He's like, I'd have to give up pretty much everything. I don't know if Steve would. It's too dirty in Washington. Steve would not. They would tie his hands with so much red tape. He would get nothing done.
The real thing is, you want to think it's Dave, but it's really, I want to think of the one where it's like every Mr. Schmidt. There's never been a story of the guy Oh, so I guess that's the story, except that, like, House of Cards was always evil. But it's like you want it to be Dave or the Distinguished Gentleman, but it's always the House of Cards, which is that,
Steve Rogers is too innocent and naive. I think you need someone
Yeah.
who can pull the dirty tricks against the other politicians.
Well, what you need is, it's Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
If Saul were a politician.
Mhm.
And it's like, being
That's right. That's right. Get Matt Murdock in there.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, I would love to see, and that's the thing. Here's the thing. I think Cap, because he has peak human intelligence, could actually outthink everyone working against him. Like, if Steve Rogers, Captain America, were president, he actually would be a really awesome president.
Yeah, but
because he's actually thinking 7 steps ahead of everyone.
Yeah, but they're going to block him at every turn because he's going to want to do universal health care. He's going to want to do, he's going to want to give everything to the people.
I know he's an FDR baby. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
and he's said as much. It's like, but to be fair, Ronald Reagan was an FDR baby, and he did all sorts of awful things too.
Oh,
so
Well, that's what one of the notes in that synopsis said. It said this was a 1980 issue, so if he did run, his opponents probably would have been Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. I would have voted for him over either of those two. So, if I could vote that point, which I could not because I was a child.
I was going to say, yes, I was 2.
I was still a child in 1980. Thank you very much. I was this many.
I was that.
You were what?
I was 2.
You were 2. Okay, so there we go. It's not so far in the past. Even Phil was alive. So, little baby face Phil. So, yeah. So, it's a great issue. It's one of my favorites. It really is. It really, actually, literally is one of my favorites because it was, again, one of the first comic books I ever read as a kid because it was there in that first round of comic books I got with a toy. And it was so exciting for me.
Yeah,
and that it was a talking book. That's the thing is like there's no fights in this book
except for the very beginning when he takes out those terrorists. Yeah, the rest of it's just talk. Yeah.
Taking out
yeah, it took what 2 pages.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I just read it. I even forgot about it again because it's not the point of the book. It's about
it's the setup. It's the setup for
yeah. Which again is why I say because I think it's a very similar situation when you do the Cap revived in the 80s, where it is a similar situation when it's Burnside who stops the terrorist plot. And it is Burnside who becomes president. And again, he becomes effectively the Ronald Reagan president. In the idea that Ronald Reagan isn't a hands-on president. He is he's there to make the speeches. He's there to move the party platform forward. But honestly, he could really care less about the day-to-day. It's like if Trump weren't a person whose ego insisted he be in charge, that is what Reagan was. He was a guy whose ego was, I'm just an actor, man. They hired me to play the president. I think I did a good job playing the president. And Trump was like, no, I have to be the president because that's my thing. And he was as bad as Reagan, but worse because, Reagan at least, said, hey man, I'm just here for the paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to do something different? That's fine. I follow the director, What does the director say?
I just love when the Secret Service calls Avengers Mansion and, Jarvis is like, oh yes, they want to know if you'll need Secret Service protection or not.
Yeah. And they actually reference that in the What If as well, where the Secret Service, like, I think this guy's going to put us out of a job. It's just.
I mean, cover those 8 hours when he has to sleep. Yeah. Besides that, no, I'm good.
Well, you do your job. You do what you have to do. But but again, the People's Party, it's a ridiculous notion to start with. And at no point should Cap have even considered this. It is telling that the only one to really consider it is, aside from What If Captain America.
I always took it, because I've read this many times. I always took it as like that third party. They just wanted a winner no matter what. So Cap could build whatever platform he wanted. Then once he got in the White House, they'll be like, "Oh, hey, well, look, we built a president out of a superhero." They wanted the political influence.
Yeah, but you should always want to you should always have a plan to do something when you get into politics. It's like, you can't build, it's fine to build the house after you buy the land, but you should have at least talked to an architect first. Anyway, you want to talk some comic books, Philip?
Sure.
I have precious few Avengers books this week. I did not, and I'm so mad. I'm so far behind on all of my Captain America books with Sam Wilson. I buy them every week. They get my money, so they know that I like this book. But, Philip, tell me what happens in Captain America, Sam Wilson, Symbol of Truth.
Well, we, of course, as we saw last time, Sam's infiltrating Wakanda, where we see there's a trap set by Crossbones. So we get
Crossbones. I hate that guy.
Yeah. I mean, meanwhile, we see there's two stories going on, because we see the new Falcon like escaping and trying to, free the immigrants and stuff. But there's like a big rolling fight with Sam and Crossbones through a lot of this until they get interrupted, because of course they're in Wakanda. So guess who's not too happy with these two? T'Challa.
I would imagine that is,
yeah,
that guy.
The former king.
Is he king again?
No, because they're a democracy now, Charlie has it.
Oh, well, you can still have it. England's a democracy. They still have a queen.
I don't know. Yeah, he might, maybe as a figure.
Does he have is he a constitutional republic now? And
I don't think they give him a say. I think he's a figurehead more than anything else. He's basically.
Well, that's fine, but every country needs a head of state.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a fun fact, is that most countries, when they have a president, that is the head of state.
Yeah.
But it's more of a ceremonial role than the prime minister. So you'll have a prime minister and then a president who's the head of state.
Yeah, but it just seems like every issue of like current Black Panther, they're like, you're not going to influence us. You're not going to make any decisions. Like, I don't want to make any decisions.
I really like being a superhero, quite frankly. That's a much better job than running a country. Yeah. That's why Steve Rogers said, I don't think this is a good job for me.
Yeah.
I should have had the smarts of Steve Rogers and say, you know what? Like, if I was T'Challa, the day I got made king, I would say, you know what? Today we're going to institute representative democracy within Wakanda. But let's have a constitutional convention and discuss what we want to have that be.
Yeah, T'Challa's just like, no, I think democracy is good for Wakanda. I don't want to interfere. Yeah, no, just, let the people decide. Yeah.
I mean, it's the worst except for everything else, is what they always say. Like capitalism, it's the worst system in the world, except for everything else. And the biggest problem is that people never want to merge the two worst ideas, except for everything else, and I have democratic capitalism. And that's when actually things work really nicely. When we all vote on things, but we also have personal property and personal autonomy. It's like there's a secret sauce that you can get working, and that's called the Federation. But anyway, moving right along, Philip. So here's a book I read. Are there any? Well, Tiger's in it, so that's an Avenger.
Oh, Defenders. Yes, tell me about Defenders.
Defenders Beyond. Oh my God, I am so loving this. This is It's not my version of the Beyonder, but I'll allow it.
Why is it a new
I'll
version?
allow it. So apparently the Beyonders
Is it a new guy?
are no, it's the same Beyonder. In fact,
Oh, okay.
he's delightful in this. He is he is so cute up. It's fun because he even like starts like so the cosmology is within the creation of reality. There are effectively these beings beyond that are sort of the engineers of the next reality. And that's their whole shtick. And there are Beyonders that go rogue. And they say, well, some Beyonders do go rogue. Yes, yes, yes. But good old Frank from Beyond, he's right here. He's here and he's I'm even going to talk in that weird colloquial way that I used to do. Just to put you at ease. As if that would. But one of my favorite bits here is so they give America the mask, the masked raider mask that makes you equal to anyone,
Oh, yeah.
and then she punches good old Frank from Beyond through several universes,
Oh, geez.
as is the thing. Meanwhile, the other Beyonders are getting all edgy because good old Loki held them in a narrative, which is again one of the best parts of all of this. Is the god of stories, and the god of narratives. It's like, well, now you're bound in the story, and now you have to follow these rules, and I make the rules because I'm the god of stories. And then big reveal at the end as they get to the white space beyond, and Goose, and that's where the Phoenix dwells, and Ty, Galactus's mom, is now the first Phoenix. So, Mazel Tov! Oh my gosh,
Wait a
so
minute.
much cool lore.
Wait a minute. She was the first Phoenix?
Well, she's a Phoenix. She is
Oh.
the Phoenix.
I was going to say,
Because she,
I was going to say, don't tell me Galactus and Thor are half brothers now.
they kind of are,
Oh,
actually.
no.
I mean, by marriage. Because let's be clear. I mean, the Phoenix, is she Thor's mom? She saved Thor's life. She's more like a neonatal surgeon who saved the baby. But I can get that. We're gonna be all cool, man. But yeah, Galactus and Thor. I would love for that to come up later. It's like, yeah, I know technically we're brothers, but in the most convoluted way. But we're gods, and it's different for gods, and yeah, that makes sense. I would love for Thor to actually approach Galactus and says, I'm reaching out to you as your brother. And Galactus like, oh, fudge on a cracker.
Oh, no. Oh, no. He finds out Galactus is his brother, and he's just like, oh, I thought Loki was bad.
Not for nothing. For real serials. You want to talk damage control?
Yes. Yep, I got that.
I mean, that was fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun book. They're definitely trying to square their circle with the MCU damage control, which is like,
yeah,
now just the cops. And it's like a weird thing, and you can definitely see it in the first story with getting the ice cream cake, and then I don't understand what's going on with Stan Forbush. Honestly, this is a weird book. I like it. Don't act like I don't like it. I like that Nightcrawler's on call for some reason.
I know.
But this again goes to that whole Steve Rogers question. It's like superheroes actually have a lot of downtime. Like, yeah, you get these adventure and adventure, but you're mostly seeing the adventures once a month. And in between once a month, there's a lot of downtime. And so when they call up, and I'm sure they have like a backup list that if we can't get, if we can't get Nightcrawler, call the Impossible Man. If we can't get the Impossible Man, call someone else who can teleport. Call Ambush Bug. He's done crossovers before.
Well, I was waiting because on that title page, they show all those Marvel characters standing around damage control. Howard the Duck's there. I was waiting for Howard to do something, but that was his only appearance in this issue.
Well, Howard often does. He's a big star. He just does cameos now.
Yeah.
That's how they keep you young. Is you. Honestly, I'm waiting for Howard to show up in She-Hulk, because honestly, those two work well together. But what do you think of the second story, Phil?
Wait, which?
I like the art style.
The Zap.
Is that Scotty? Who's doing the art on this?
This is
artist is Jay. That's Jay Foskett.
Yeah,
but it's fun. It's light. It's airy. Reality Stones and Thanos and
the kid. The guy's mother gets turned into a monster and she battles Thanos.
Yeah. Well, and again, it goes into this idea. Here is what I will say. At the end of the day, all of these stories are, I don't want to say fictional, even though they are, but at the same time, there's an internal logic to it. And when you talk about Infinity Stones, definitely the stones have their own sense of self. So within this is all the Reality Stone playing the game. And even the idea that let's just put the Reality Stone in the gift shop. That'll be fun. That's the Reality Stone saying, I wanna do my story the way I want my story to be. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how much in continuity this story is, because like Nightcrawler's not wearing that costume right now, and I don't know if that's one of
this could have been earlier.
That's what I'm saying. It might not be in the present. Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing. I don't even think that Thanos has had the Infinity Gauntlet in a while. So.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't even know if Thanos is still alive.
Yeah, he's alive. Last I knew, he was in the Eternals book, but yeah. I don't know if did I tell you at the end of Machinesmith #1, it looked like Thanos showed up, but then in issue 2 they revealed that it was a Skrull. She just came looking for Machinesmith's help. Yeah.
Anyway, got another book to throw out, Phil?
You didn't read Avengers Forever #8, did you?
Wait, there was an Avengers Forever out this week?
Yep.
Dang it, I missed it. Dang. So what happens this week in Avengers Forever? I thought that's on my pull list.
Well, on Earth 56337, after letting the Masters of Evil, it says, destroy Asgard and Earth, a lot of Earth, Thor's basically just like wallowing in, whatever. And the hammer just keeps coming, Mjolnir just keeps coming to him, and like it's like tormenting him. So he tries to hide out in the Himalayas. The hammer still finds him. And he finds, what's his face? The Li Kung, the Thunderer, because Kunlun has also been devastated by the Masters of Evil. So the Thunderer basically teaches Thor how to become this Earth's Iron Fist.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the Thunderbird. Yeah.
What?
From the meat. You said the Thunderbird?
No, the Thunderer. No, it's like a Kunlun
Oh,
Yeah. No,
okay.
yeah,
Oh, it's a Kunlun thing.
teach them to become the Iron Fist, and then yes, he eventually tames Mjolnir and becomes the Iron Fist, and that's when Ant-Man, Tony Stark, and Ghost Rider come and pick him up.
Need the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
An A-team, if you will, Phil.
Ah,
So I know technically, Reed and Sue were Avengers.
oh yeah, okay, throw it in.
Did you read Fantastic Four 46?
Yes, I did. Dan Slott's final issue. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good issue. With good old Joanna, I forget her last name. It's not Richards. I like this issue. It's like, yeah, let's go to space. We'll have fun. Then we go to them.
Does it seem like Slott's trying to tie up a lot of, it's like, oh, this is what I would have did if I got more issues, or
well, look, everybody only has so many issues.
oh, I know, that's what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, he's like, I had
Stan
this
Lee
idea.
and John Byrne got the most issues.
Oh yeah.
And you really gotta be. I mean, I don't know how many issues Hickman got, but he got a lot too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Slott got 46.
He got a lot of issues, honestly.
Yeah.
And honestly, he may be out of ideas too. He's like, I don't know, man. Because that's the thing about writing these characters. At a certain point, you kind of want them to just like, man, I would love if they just all like chilled at the tower for a bit and just, like, wouldn't that be nice if like everyone just had a nice little bit of domesticity? And it's like, no, that doesn't sell books, No one wants to see Ben Grimm going to the PTA meeting. Although what I will say that I love about this is that Ben's kind of made peace with himself.
Oh yeah, because they say they can pretty much cure him because they cured Johnny's flame, and he's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, and well, and of course, what's important in this is when he's already getting the once a year placebo to be Ben Grimm. So he gets to be Ben Grimm once a year for like a day or a week or whatever.
But if he's truly at peace with it, shouldn't he be able to transform back and forth now?
No, that's the sticky wicket.
I know.
Because it is purely like effectively what they could do is they could remove the powers from him. Yeah. They couldn't have him change back and forth.
But I'm just saying, on his own, shouldn't he be able to change back and forth?
No, because I mean that's the whole thing. I mean
wasn't the whole mental block that he was worried about losing Alicia? I mean, they're married.
Well, it's always a mental block. He's and what the mental block really is he doesn't want to stop being the biggest, toughest guy in the world. He doesn't want to stop being the guy who can go toe to toe with the Hulk. And the way that the Future Foundation worked around this is they said, well, if all that's stopping him from doing this is a mental block, what if we just told him he only had a small amount of power, that he could do it, but he could only do it like once a year. And now, you get to be human again. So we've established that you can be human again whenever you want, but we're going to put these strictures on it so that your transformation back. And this goes into stuff they've established previously, which is the idea that when you change back and forth between your superhuman and your human form, you start to get a disconnect in the characters. And you start to be separated from them. And for Ben, and this was done, it was the last time, I want to say, he fell asleep in some weird time-space aggregator where he had to fight a bunch of himself. And what it was that, his biggest fear is if the Thing is a different person from Ben Grimm, then the Thing is going to become like the Hulk. He's going to be just this guy who smashes.
Hmm.
And Ben Grimm won't allow himself to be that.
Hmm.
But he also won't allow himself to give up this power that he can do good with. Because with great power comes great responsibility, as you may have heard in recent episodes. And so, for Ben, he sacrifices his humanity to be a superhero. And he hates that he's not human, but he also doesn't want to not have the power of being a superhero. And because he knows that if he switches back and forth, it's going to cause a bifurcation between the characters, which, for what it's worth, even She-Hulk has had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an issue that has come up. She can say she's just always She-Hulk. It's just her, just now with gamma powers. It's never the same. And Ben is a smart enough guy to understand that as he sees people who have two forms.
Hmm.
He knows that other form always leads to trouble if you switch back and forth. But if he can be in charge of being Ben Grimm and say Ben Grimm is the thing, then he can actually control it and be a positive force. Honestly, I've spent a lot of time in my life deconstructing Ben Grimm. And honestly, I'm waiting for, what's his name, Kenneth Young, to write Being Your Ben Grimm, because that's a book I will buy. Just who is your Ben Grimm? Who is the person who balances understanding that I need to be this person, but I also understand I need to maintain my humanity. So it's a whole complex thing, but don't worry about it. Moving right along, yeah, he doesn't want to do it, and especially if his kids accept him as just a big rock monster, and Alicia accepts him as just a big rock monster.
Mm-hmm.
And that what's ever going on with in the bedroom with him and Alicia, they're both cool with it.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, not for nothing. Maybe they're two aces who found happiness or something like that. Anything's possible.
Or once a year's
know?
enough. I don't know.
Once a year's enough. I mean, really. That's the thing. It's Ben moving beyond needing to be that guy, who needs to define himself by human standards, because he's not human. He's a thing. All right, Philip. Let's. Do you have anything else you want to talk about tonight?
No, I think that's good.
I think we ran a nice long show. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. Philip, why don't you tell people how they can reach us if they'd like to talk to us with their voices on telephones or emails, and if they'd like to get some amazing merch, how can they do that?
Oh, well, yes. Well, you can get a hold of us. Email CapesandLunatics at gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Remember, you can follow Avengers Declassified on Facebook, on Twitter. But yeah, no, send your thoughts because we're going to do more Captain America next week. Captain America 275 through 279. So, yes, send your thoughts on those.
Love my Cap.
And any new Avengers books. Again, the YouTube channel, everything gets a video, so please smash the subscribe button. We'd love for you to be a subscriber, so smash that subscribe button.
Smash it.
And of course, most importantly, the Patreon. Again, we're paying for this out of our own pocket. It's a labor of love, so please, any little bit helps with $3 to $5. Get you early access to creator interviews and the superhero movie brackets. And if that's not enough, show your love and support with Capes and Lunatics merchandise.
Keeps your drinks cold all night.
That's right. So find it all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics.
It'll keep your drinks warm as well, Tristan. Meanwhile, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our mothers and fathers once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And likewise, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet things when I feel like it. Like Stargirl, which is coming out Wednesday, because Phil told me. But when this posts, I don't know when that Wednesday will be. But either way, I'll be live tweeting it at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEssser. Look for the two E's right there in the middle. For what?
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just listened to a declassified episode of the Avengers. Do understand that this knowledge is double top secret and can only be revealed by persons of authority, of which we are not. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good night.
That's right. Leave the classified info where you found it.
Do not take it to your vacation resort in Florida. Yes. As much as Lilith wants to read it, don't. We pick on Lilith because she lives in Florida.
For now.
For now. She may change her